Everyone, this is the hike to Terri Peak. Now, from the clouds, you might think that we are thousands of feet up in the mountains. It's not. It's actually over 2,000 feet, under 3,000 feet. So we're not that far up. It's just a little cloudy today. When it's not cloudy and you do get here, you can see all the high peaks, San Jacinto. It's a beautiful viewpoint. When it's cloudy like this, it's nice and cool, and it kind of has a Scotland kind of feel to it. The hike is at the Lake Perris State Recreation Area, which is kind of somewhere in between Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Orange County, Riverside County, in that ballpark. It's about a 4-mile loop hike, 4 or 5 miles, depending on how much farting around you do on it. But it is a beautiful hike, and you do get views of the peaks, like I mentioned earlier, and also of Lake Perris, which is a man-made lake. It's a fun hike to do in the morning. When you're done the hike, you can go down, have a picnic, maybe go for a swim if it's hot out, and enjoy the area. So if you want to do it, I have, as always, the full guide on Hiking Guy with the maps and the parking info. But otherwise, here are the turn-by-turn directions to here. All right, so the trailhead is at the end of the parking lot here at the Regional Museum. The parking lot's not always open, and there's another parking lot nearby. I have the information on that on the guide, so check that out. Just going to head up the trail past the sign warning you about mountain lions, which I would not worry about here. Worry more about jackrabbits, maybe snakes, but not a big deal. But you can see right from the beginning the trail starts to head upwards. It's about 1,000, maybe a little under 1,100 feet of climbing, but it's not crazy unless it's really hot out, in which case it can feel pretty brutal. As you head up, there's going to be a lot of these little overlooks here, and this one's left to the left. This is the first one. There's actually an old interpretive display which is now missing. You can see the lake down there, Lake Perris, in the distance. It's a popular spot for water skiing, fishing, water sports, but check it out and then keep heading up, and you can see the trail kind of levels off a little bit here. It's not as steep as it was. There are a lot of spots where you can catch your breath, and as you go, there's going to be a lot of little use trails, a lot of little side trails. There's one off to the left there, but you can see the main trail goes up here towards the peak, which you can see most of the time. Even when it's foggy out, you can kind of see where you need to go, and if a trail dead ends, you'll know that it's a use trail or a side trail. And there's a lot of the little trails off to the side to overlooks. Now after a bit, you're going to go through this boulder field. It's pretty cool here. A lot of really unique rock formations as you go up, and there is some rock climbing in this area. None really on the trail, but there are a lot of cool boulders to take shots with. And here's another side trail off to the right to a overlook. Especially in this beginning part, there's a lot of these little overlook trails where, people bring beers up and chill out and take in the views. But we're going to keep heading up towards Terri Peak here. And you can see the trail is definitely more well-trodden as we go up here. It's easier to follow. Now there's one section in the middle of this beginning part that's kind of steep. This is the steepest section you're going to get, and it's not long at all. And like I said before, there's parts where you can catch your breath. And right after this, there's a section that gets flat and levels out, so you'll be able to kind of chill out here. Now, if it's hot out and there are no clouds, it can be pretty brutal, and it could feel a lot tougher than it is when it's hot. So make sure you do it early in the day or do it in the winter when it's cooler out. If you weren't looking at fog, you'd be looking at the lake at this point. There are beautiful views on this route. There are other ways to get up here. This is my favorite. Now when you get up towards the peak, there's a little split, and you'll know you're towards the peak. It's through the top. You're going to head towards the right, and you're going to come out at the summit area, which is here. And again, apologies, this is Lake Perris, Mount San Jacinto. You'll be able to get beautiful panoramic views from up here of all of the high peaks. San Gorgonio, Angeles National Forest will all be up here when it is not foggy, I promise you. So take it all in, and then when you're done, the trail to continue on the loop is sort of on the north end here. And from here on out, the trail is generally pretty wide. There are mountain bikers who come up on these wider trails and trail runners, unlike the first part, which is a little more relaxed. But we're going to keep heading down here. And there's a little plateau up top here, and you're going to twist around, avoid the side trail off to the left, and head on the main wide trail here to the right as we kind of cover this bigger plateau, and there's a little upslope here, but in general we're going to be heading downhill all the way back to the bottom. Now as you come around here, you can get some nice views into Moreno Valley, Angeles National Forest. San Gorgonio will be up ahead of you through the fog when it's not here. We're going to continue downhill and come on around, and eventually you're going to loop around back towards Lake Perris here, and you can see there's more boulders, there's cool views. Mount Russell is off to the left, which when it's not foggy you can see it. It's actually the highest point. When we get to this junction, it's important. You might see people going down to the left over there. That's another route up here. We're not going to do that. To do the loop to get back to where we started, we're going to go straight. And from here on out, the trail is a little more primitive as we go up. And right after that junction, there's a little split. There's another viewpoint off to the right, but we're going to head to the left here. And there's a lot of viewpoints around here. If you go on a trail and it sort of dead ends at a viewpoint, you know you've gone the wrong way. Eventually you're going to come down and you're going to see Lake Perris again. Up to there you will see San Jacinto if it's not cloudy out. We're going to continue around. You're also going to see Terri Peak up there where we just came down as we sort of make the loop around back down to the lake. When we come up here, it's going to be another side trail off there to a viewpoint. Nice beer drinking place for teenagers, but we're going to continue to head downhill. That's a little counterintuitive. We're going to head a little towards the southeast as we go around here and make the big loop. Now when you come down to this dirt road, see there's a water tower down there, a water tank, and another trail heading up that way. We're going to head down the dirt road for a short stretch, and it's downhill once again, but after a couple minutes you're going to see this side trail here. We're going to take this little side trail cut off. We're going to head down to a horse campground, which is pretty cool if you're an equestrian. It is one of the nicer horse campgrounds I've seen. We're going to come down to the road to the horse campground, and we're going to make the right on it. And we're going to go through the horse campground. There's a bunch of paddocks here, stables. And we're going to go down through here and kind of down around to the left. There are porta potties and there's some water here. We're going to go all the way to the end of the horse campgrounds, and we're going to continue on the trail. Now from here on out, we're going on a pretty flat section of trail that goes along the lake. It's a nice section. You can get nice views of Alessandro Island in the middle of the lake and the other peaks on the other side of the lake. But it's a nice mellow way to end the hike as we go down here. Eventually you're going to come out and cross the road. The trail follows the road before this, up above it a little bit, and now we're going to cross over it, and we're going to go down below the road for a little bit, and the trail's pretty much the same. You're going to have maybe 10-15 minutes on this trail, and eventually you're going to kind of dead end out to a road that comes up towards the museum, where we're going to end the hike. At this point we're almost done. We're going to follow the trail down here around until we get to the road. When we get to the road, you have two options. If you parked at the museum, we're going to go straight up this road, up back to the museum. It's about a 5-minute walk on the road, and you'll see the museum in the distance, straight up there. And if you parked at the fisherman's lot, you just go back down that way, and you can go down the pedestrian path back to the lot. And that's the hike. So that's it. That's the hike. It's a fun one. Definitely give it a try if you have not already. It's foggy today, so it's nice and cool. There's no shade on this hike, so if you're doing it in the summer, if you're doing it during the middle of the day, when it's clear out, you obviously get the views, but it is much hotter. Prepare accordingly. I talk all about the gear on the website, and there's a link to the full article right underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube. And if you want to say thank you for the video, please just hit that little thumbs up button. It's an easy way to help the channel and say thank you for no cost to you. Anyway, Terri Peak, give it a try if you have not already, and I will see you out in the trails, guys. Bye.